Hello, 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 hello. Welcome to Sketch Club, Tuesday night. Another attempt to run our live show. So tonight I'm working a little bit differently. I'm actually working in charcoal tonight, and I got completely lost when I was sketching. So instead of making this a 25-minute video, I sketched for 40 minutes. So for that reason, I'm going to be fast forwarding through some of this and we're going to keep this to about 20 or 25 minutes. Okay. Hi, look how relieved Izzy is. Hi, Darlene. Well, we're glad you're back. Glad you're back. So we're going to do about 4 of them tonight and we're going to keep them at about 5 minutes. This first one will probably do a little bit less. Like I was saying, ran a little bit over. All I'm doing with my charcoal right now is making a good base that I can pull out from and mark on, kind of like a middle ground, right? And I'll go through and do that a few times. We'll start there, and that way you can see most of the thing happen before we have to move on. So don't get too freaked out. We're basically still playing with light and dark patterns. When you come up with a dark object, it's a little bit different than like a light object. Sometimes the light and the shadow is not quite so obvious, and we depend more on highlight and cast shadows and things like that. But when you see the leaves coming out, um, that stem is a light and a dark, so we can just continue that stem as a dark or as a light, and the same with the leaves against a gray background. Okay, so our leaves will come off the background because the background will be a value in between the light leaves and the leaves in shadow. And like I said, the highlights are what really bring alive our dark silhouettes. Okay, and we have to stick to the big value shapes, and sometimes our vases and our drawings aren't quite like we like them just because of speed, but we want to take a look at those big value patterns and value arrangements. If we find something we like, we can come back and enhance it later. And by the way, you can always come back and pause this if you want to spend a little bit longer on these drawings. But for the sake of the live show, I am going to fast forward and keep it to about 20, 25 minutes. Just so Izzy will promise to come back. So I put it then see how I rubbed it out and it's kind of a ghost image? And now I'm going to come back and it gives me a new chance to draw and also something else to draw against. So there's like atmosphere around it. Okay, this is a lot of my process, and one of the reasons I like to work in charcoals is it mimics paint so well because we can treat our paint the same way. How about some leaves? You gonna wait till I show you the leaves? Okay. Let's go with that. Let's just go with that for right now. All right, so again, I'm going to fast forward it a little bit. Oops, so got the silhouette again. And then see that dark is a continuation of the stem and then the leaves that there. And I did not get to come back and check for the lights and put a little atmosphere in. All right, so then we're going to start on our next one. So let's see if I've learned my lesson from the other night. That'll disappear. And here will come up. How did what? Well, I was able to scan. My Sin, my scroll bar here is not on the window, is it? The play and the fast. Okay. All right. Okay. So again, what I'm doing here is laying some ground out, and then I'm actually going to take an eraser and then pull out the light sections, like the vase, and then those lighter rounds are actually green grapes, and then you see the white flowers. And I'm just going to get a general value. There's light against dark, and we want to make the background in between our light and our dark. So we're practicing creating these light dark patterns. Okay, so there's the vase and the side of the vase coming down to the grape. Do you like my little alarm? Yeah. Yep, because I am an artist, and once I get going, I lose track of time. What is this over here? I don't know, and I don't know where it came from. So who knows? So pulling out light patterns. So what do we've got? We got the big vase there with the little white light grape and a white flower on that side. And the other side, there's a light flower and a little light grape or green grape in between some dark grapes. So now I'm going to come on and play with my shadow pattern a bit. Okay, and again, since this is a quick sketch, you know, we got to move along. I'm notoriously slow. Hence, we got a 40-minute video for a 20-minute segment. So, yeah, I got lost. I got going and I got lost. I'll admit it. I'll admit it. But it was a good lost. A good lost. Mhm. For some of us, I guess. Oh, brother. Oh, brother. I was having a blast. That's why I went on for. I just totally lose track of time when I'm doing it. And that's how you know you're doing it right. That's why I don't work at a racetrack keeping lap times. So that shadow then just becomes a dark shape, and I try to extend it between cast shadows and the dark grapes and come up with a pattern. So don't let if it's a bunch of objects overwhelm you, we're just gonna put a dark shape down and weave it and wind it into an interesting design on the canvas. Okay, about one more minute on this. So I think you're gonna want a little more time on these last two. Yes, yes. So, and then remember, just like I used the palette knife in our last lesson, I'm using the stump here to change the look of the background so it can separate. Not only is the value different than the shadow and the light, but the look of it is different. You know, a little more vague. Okay, and a couple of highlights, and bam, that's about all we got time for. Okay, well, we're gonna move on. So we're gonna let this disappear after I make sure I got enough room to press the right button. And we're gonna reappear with that. So what's our light shape and our shadow shape? And I know it can get confusing with the background, but we want to uh, push it out, right? That dark background coming in from the left side, but it's background, right? Those grapes have to be darker so that they come forward. And then the shadow on our vase needs to be darker than that background so that it comes forward. So as I'm putting that in, I want to come over and make sure that I don't overtake my vase too much. So I'm taking a minute to kind of find that. And this is vine charcoal that I'm starting with, and then I move on to some regular charcoal to go a little bit darker. Okay, which part was interesting? Ah, yep. So Izzy said that was interesting how that little bitty line made everything look, she used the word fat, but what she's talking about is volume, how it looks rather than two-dimensional, three-dimensional. And that again, just because I showed us going around, that band going around. And if we look, it almost looks like it's going straight across. But we got to show that curve or else it won't make visual sense. Careful on the curve. Right, babe? That's what she always yells when she's in the car with mom. Careful on the curve. I'm talking about you in the car with mom. Nee, nee. Nee, 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 nee. Cast shadow, and the cast shadow is going to connect to those grapes. So again, we're just expanding that dark shape. Okay, I know, quick, quick, quick. But we're thinking in mass here. This is mass instead of line. So you can see the difference in language, although I kind of treat everything that we've been sketching for you guys as mass. As mass, so you guys know the language of painting rather than solve it in the language of line. And then you go to paint and go, oh, I don't know what to do because you're thinking the language of line and not paint. Mass, mass, language of mass. And then the grape up here is going to cast a shadow on that vase, right? And the dark part runs across, and that'll connect up with the dark background on the other side. Cast shadow from the lip of the vase. I know these aren't too pretty, but it's still kind of fun to watch this stuff kind of appear. And by not having time to go too detailed, sometimes you'll discover things. Now what I'm doing here is trying to create a negative light shape between the grapes and the cast shadow in the vase and the cast shadow. Again, it's just something to grab a hold of the viewer. A negative shape. The power of the negative shape. Hmm. That is so weird. I don't know what that is and where it came from. Well, it's because it says this here. It's just a repeat of this. We're still trying to figure out who am I? Who am I and what am I doing here? And how do I do it? But with the help of Super Is, we'll figure it out. Right, girl? You can put some girl power into this? Sure. Uh, all right, just about a minute and a half left on this one. And again, you can come back and pause it. I don't think I even had time to get to those leaves, which is unfortunate because that's such a beautiful little dancing design of light up there. All right, well, I went 40 minutes. I couldn't go any longer. I had to stop. So now what I'm doing is I'm being careful showing the outline of the shadow of the vase and highlighting that that band is sitting on top of the vase. So it goes out other than the side of the vase, and that'll help give the feel that it's sitting on top of rather than some sort of inlaid design. Actimate. Yes, let's do that. I like that. Henson, I'm sure is your grandchild. Henson, say actimate Izzy power. That's a good one. I like that. Activate. One of my favorite things that we used to do when Izzy was a baby, I forgot we had some sort of but we'd go peace out, and it took us the longest time. She'd always go peace out, number two. She wasn't putting the peace sign together. She was reading number two. So I think you said that through, yeah, through preschool and almost into kindergarten, right? So peace out, number two. Peace at pretty not. That was something else that was great. All right, we're out of time, so let's see how far I get on here. That's pretty not. Yep. So again, the background for a little mystery, a little highlight on there. And that's all we got time for. It's time for the next one. Time for the next one. Oops, I guess I need to change you guys out. Where are we at? There we go. That's it. So what do we have? We've got a dark vase, and don't let the fabric fool you. Is that basically in the shape of a diamond? Kind of a skewered diamond? You want to try to make it show it's falling, swooping off the wall, laying on the table, and then falling off the front of the table. So it's just a big, weird looking diamond and a dark silhouette on top of that, right? And then we've got some of those light flowers coming out the top and dark flowers merging with the dark silhouette of the vase. Those are great, baby. Ooh, I promised you and G drawing lessons this week, didn't I? I think my mouth is getting me in trouble. It's a good thing they can't hear you. They think you're very sweet. Let's keep it that way. All right, and then subtle value change from the side of that would be the cast shadow from the fabric falling over, and then turn a corner, make it lay on the table. I didn't do very much, and then this should be more of a swoop. My ends up as kind of a straight line, but it should be more of a swoop down, hanging down. Don't let it get too much of a hard line. Now we're doing the dark vase. But you see, I don't necessarily finish any one thing, but I try to work through something just enough till I can see the next thing and get the next thing in. I want to try to get to a whole as soon as I can, a full finish as soon as I can. What was your mama saying? Oh, oh, how did that look exchange go? Was it an even exchange? Somebody having a higher exchange rate? What's going on? She was sassier than you? Oh, okay. I'll have to take your word on that. Okay. Until next time. All right. Yep. And now I'm just extending that dark shape of the vase to the cast shadow to the far side. And those are actually little status on the near side. But the important thing, and again, see how I created that negative shape between the cast shadow of the status, which is like a little flower, a little, yeah, I guess we call it a flower, and the dark vase, the cast shadow. Those little negative shapes will really hold and pull the eye, as will the little highlights as we get the highlights on there. So we're coming up on our 20-minute mark, but we're going to go a little bit longer on this one, just to give you guys a chance. Let's see, how am I doing? 6. So let me fast forward a little bit. Let's say we'll give it 3 more minutes. So you can see what a highlight does, and then behind the vase, I added a little bit of light, but not as bright as the highlight, right? Just a little duller. Did you just snap the thing, or what happened? Oh. Mm, Careful with the elbows. So different values, different value, not all the same value. Those are different planes. Different planes can't be the same value. I've been telling you that since you were in your mama's womb. Izzy, different planes have to be different values. Did it go away? Oh, really? Huh. Oh, you know what? I wonder if it's because when I do that. If I stay over here, I wonder if it'll go away. Maybe. Maybe, maybe. Okay, so 2 minutes more on this. How are you guys doing on this? But do you see I'm again dividing the space with value, and either the silhouette value of the dark objects or the light shadow of the lighter objects. Okay, so that's the idea when we're working in mass on these quick shapes, on these quick sketches. Because again, 5 to 10 minutes isn't very long to see something and come up with an idea. But the idea is just kind of first impressions and get things down. And then from there, you're going to see possibilities. You're going to see the possibilities. Ooh, I could send this way, or what if we had this shape this way? Do you see the possibilities, Izzy? You do. You no, don't be a copier. Be a creator. Be a creator. No, if you got to copy for a little while, that's okay. You copy till you understand, and then you understand. But you should copy to understand, not until. But copy for understanding. Math. Math. Are you a math artist? Yes. Math can be pure poetry as well. Or it could be math. All right, all right. I get it. I hear you. I hear you. Mhm. All right, there's 30 more seconds on this one. So I hope this wasn't overwhelming, but again, I kind of wanted to throw a lot at you and force you to simplify because that's the game we're playing. Sometimes with the figures and stuff, we'll be working on drawings. Other times, the still lifes are a little bit of a different game. It's the same. It's connecting the darks, it's connecting the lights, making interesting designs. Like Izzy tries to make interesting designs with her body, dancing around the screen. We want to do that with our values. Oh, I'm sorry. I'll turn mine. Oh, right on. Nice. Nice. Had to stop and watch. No, I get it. I get it sometimes, and that's the advantage of this being here. You can come back later and do it. So I hope you got something out of it. My goal tomorrow is to go live again in the morning here and demo the next step of the painting. So that'll be there for you. That's granted I get my technological act together, but that's the plan. Our, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. She has no faith in me. She has no faith, but we'll do it. You have a little faith. All right. So we'll scroll back through before we say goodbye just to see the whole thing really quick. It is kind of cool, and also it just kind of helps reinforce what we learned. See, look, that was my first attempt. Boom, that's too big, Jason. Start over. Start over, so it's okay to do it a few times to get in there. But the language is light, dark, and gray. And then that white, those little highlights, man, they can be powerful if we've got those other pieces in there correctly. All right. Yes, it did pop on screen. Oops. All right. All right. So anyway, that's it. We'll hope to see you guys tomorrow night. Thanks for joining us. Bye, everybody.